when I came up with Not Many Are Like Us, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then I took the letters away from each of the words and just took the front. And then I seen it said NMALU. And then when I did that, I'm like, okay, this is dope. Like, I like the way that it looks. Just like for aesthetic reasons and the way that it would, just present itself. And then once I started trying to figure out how you pronounce the actual acronym, Malu was what I came up with because I truly believe that in America, the N should necessarily move in silence, whether you want to call him a Negro or you want to call him a nigga.
Wow. That is complex. Yo. That is complex, bro. Yo. We are back. It is This Side of Jersey podcast, the #1 podcast in the world. Ivan's not here to say stamp, but stamps. I am your only host of the day. My name is Steven. I go by Ugly Steven on Instagram. We want to shout out iRobinson03_. We want to shout out Vintage Sense 2_, and we want to shout out OGBs on Instagram. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching if you're tapping into Spotify, Apple Music, right, be sure to like, follow us on there, subscribe there. All right. Now, our guest for today, very special guest. We are very excited for this episode, but before we get into that, we got to get into our layup lines. So for those who do not know, layup lines is a segment where we like to get our guests loose, right? So we ask a bunch of this or that questions just to get them all the jitters out, right? Just get all the jitters and the laughs, all right? So let me get 24 on the clock. Dang, I ain't got eye here today. It's crazy. Gotta do it all by yourself, Deck. You feel me? Gotta do it all by yourself. All right, here we go. Contestant, 24 on the clock. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's get it.
All right, here we go. Designing or creating?
Designing.
Pharrell or Kanye?
Pharrell.
Get to work early or leave late?
Leave late.
No, Not Many Are Like Us or Louis Vuitton?
Not Many Are Like Us.
Would you rather be betrayed or disrespected?
Betrayed.
NBA Finals or Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
Reasonable Doubt or the Black Album?
Reasonable Doubt.
Making money or making impact?
Both.
Paid in full or belly?
Both.
New York or LA?
New York.
That is time. Very well done, sir. Very, very well done. The last one I had for you was Adidas or Nike.
That's heavy.
Is it that hard?
Yes.
Is it really?
It is.
I thought it was an easy answer.
No. Because you got to think of the impact of Nike and what it's done for our culture itself. But you also got to think about what Jerry Lorenzo is doing right now with Adidas, what Pharrell has done with Adidas, what, so many people in our culture that are actually the pioneers right now and in the past have done with Adidas, Run DMC. So it's like, it depends on the day and it depends on the socks.
All right, here we go. Can you wear Adidas shoes and Nike socks?
Never.
Not even if I'm going to play basketball
like
at the park.
Yeah, it's over.
Not even if I'm going to the store for 3 seconds.
Don't come around me. My girl not leaving the house like that. She's dope.
Is it strictly with Nike and Adidas, or so? For example, can I wear New Balance shoes and Nike socks?
I wouldn't be mad at you because New Balance ain't necessarily like a sock, like a big sock contributor to like people's wardrobe.
Got you.
But I would prefer that you actually have, if you want to wear a pair of New Balances, nah, for real. If you're going to wear a pair of New Balances, go get you some socks for like Urban Outfitters or Uniqlo or something. Something that's going to match the swag of a New Balance, because New Balances have those colors. And they're usually softer. They usually got a different variation of things in it. So go get you a pair of wool socks. Go get you something different with a little speckle in it. Don't get no regular white socks. He get it. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, Deck doing it right? Okay, Deck. Okay.
He understands.
Okay. Wow.
So no, don't cross-dress.
Okay. Wow. As you can see, our guest has strong opinions.
I do.
Specifically in the fashion world. And rightfully so. Right? So, our next guest, man, The resume is impressive. He is the founder and head designer of Not Many Are Like Us. He is the director and producer of the TV show Teaspoon of Love Cookbook Challenge. He is a program coordinator for Roots to Prevention. Ladies and gentlemen, Kelvin Michael Jr. is here.
Thanks for having me.
In the flesh.
Yo, that warm-up round was hard. I like that.
Yeah, you like that?
All
right. You know what I mean? So, how you feeling, bro?
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I'm happy I'm here right now.
Word.
And I'm good. I'm as good as I could ever be, honestly.
Word. I like that, bro.
Yeah, like I can't complain about nothing, bro.
We love it. We love to see it, bro.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. I'm starting heavy. I'm starting hot. I'm coming out hot.
Let's get right.
All right. I need to know, where did you get the name for your brand?
Well, that's heavy. So y'all know what Tumblr is?
Absolutely.
So when Tumblr was around, I was the very rare boy. It was like random stuff like that. And a lot later on, I kind of got into a space where I wasn't trying to be so egotistical. And I decided to take a step back and start thinking about how I could impact people impact people in general more than I could, just be influence, with my fashion and stuff like that, or like the way I dressed. And slowly but surely, I started realizing, how heavy family was for me, because I was going through a lot with my family, right after college, and just seeing my little brothers and my little cousins and just different things like that. And I wanted people to understand what it was to be able to build a family, not only within blood, but within like your own circle as well. Like, say I meet you and we got the same common goal and we try and reach the same goal, spiritually, physically, monetarily, whatever. As long as you trying to reach that goal and you got somebody here with you to support it, that's that Not Many Are Like Us thing. Because a lot of the times y'all got to figure out how y'all gonna do that on your own.
Wow.
And that's where it came from, truthfully. So.
Wow. Wow. Did you stumble upon other names that were similar, and then this one made the cut, or was it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it just, you knew it when you heard it.
It was. So the thing about it was I was never trying to find a name. Honestly, I was trying to look for something that was just like a thing. And then after a while, I was like trying to figure out how to take the rare boy and turn it into a plural concept. And then once it became plural, I'm like, okay, so how do I create that definition in a phrase, but within a sense where it's like more than just us? I apologize.
No, you good.
More than just us or just me. And then when I came up with Not Many Are Like Us, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then I took the letters away from each of the words and just took the front. And then I seen it said NMALU. And then when I did that, I'm like, okay, this is dope. Like, I like the way that it looks. Just like for aesthetic reasons and the way that it would, just present itself. And then once I started trying to figure out how you pronounce the actual acronym, Malu was what I came up with, because I truly believe that in America, the N should necessarily move in silence, whether you want to call him a Negro or you want to call him a nigga.
Wow. That is complex. Yo. That is complex, bro. I love that there was a lot of thought and a lot of concept and a lot of belief into it. Because even the next question I was going to ask you was like, what values are present in your brand? Because there are people who have brands like yourself, and there are people who make T-shirts.
Very true.
And you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference, right? So like, there's a lot more conceptual work that's put in. There's been a lot more investment into your brand. So I guess if you can answer outside of what you said before, my question is, what values, outside of being yourself, being the individual, right? What values are present in your brand that you think every day you practice, and this is what makes the brand it? You know what I mean? Yeah. So the value mostly is family, and that may not be a value to some people in a way that you would describe it, but value is always family first, of course, and it's always being intentional, because if you're able to be intentional with everything that you're doing, one, you get good quality, which good quality brings a good product. Good product brings good customer service, stuff like that, and that's pretty much the basis of it is family and intentional and being intentional. Those are the main things, because if you're intentional with everything, you got purpose. And if you're doing it with your family, you always got,
everything that you need. You have more purpose essentially. So it's that's pretty much the most about it. Then precision.
Precision.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
When we were talking earlier, and when you first started talking about it, you said when you were branching off from the Rare Boy to you said a more community focus, right?
Yep.
You said that you did that at a time where you realized that you had to be less egotistical.
Yeah.
What does egotistical Kelvin look like? And then how do we get out of egotistical Kelvin to the family, right? Because I imagine that wasn't just like I got to make this more communal, right? I'm sure like there was like a personality, like a journey within yourself that you had to transition out of, right? So like talk about that.
So I think the egotistical part came from when I was never egotistical when I was home. When I moved to California, when I was like 18, and I went to school playing football, running track, and different things like that. I was in a space where I was never in before, where I was the only one that was from where I was from. I was the only person that I had like a little bit of an edge on a lot of people in the place that I was at, and it kind of showed me what I guess you can say a diamond in the rough. Like a girl from my old school, specifically speaking, would say that I was liquid gold on campus, which is a crazy compliment to give somebody, right?
Yeah.
And then you hear something like that and you start to kind of like look at it like, well, you know what, maybe I am. Mm-hmm. And then I started leaning in on that and started like pushing my own boundaries to see, you know, what I could be. And then, of course, like once you start to see yourself turn into somebody that you ain't never seen before, you like, okay, like it's time to, first of all, what are you doing? And second of all, my little brothers can't see this. Because I can't, they can't be like that. And then not only that, it's like, I actually care about the people in my life. I want to be a husband. I want to be like a father. Mm-hmm. And if I'm going to start practicing, I might as well start practicing now. And if I'm going to do it, I might as well leave something with it, you know, that goes on with the rest of my life, if that makes sense. So it was all like it was basically like that point where I'm like, all right, no more kid stuff. It's time to get in your man bag. We got to figure out what we're going to do for the family. We got to figure out what you're going to do for yourself so that way people can look at you in a certain light when they talk about you. And also, too, you want to be able to be in a space where, like, the people that are following you don't have to hesitate. It's not like I don't know what we should be doing. It's just like, nah, pull up. We about to get right. I'm going to show y'all what y'all need to do. We're going to make sure that you good, and I'm not going to just give you the water. I'm going to teach you how to put helium, oxygen, you know what I'm saying, and put them together. Like, we're going to teach you how to do all this. And I guess that's another value. It's education. So that's like pretty much what it was. That's how I went from that to the community thing because, and then also too, like being egotistical is lonely. You start to lose people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you start to feel yourself a little bit too much. Niggas are looking at you like, I don't know about this motherfucker. He tripping. Like, and that ain't me. And that's, you know, pretty much what it was. It's like, all right, well, it's time to get right. So
did you lose people in this process?
What's crazy is I didn't actually start losing people until I became the person that wanted to be who I am now. It was when I actually started looking at my values different, and I'm like, I can't be around you. I can't be around you. And people are looking at me like, well, why are you acting like this? It's be like, it's because it's like, I got something to do, and I can't be here right now because when you knew me, we just partied, we just did this, we just did that. We was knucklehead, and I don't want to say knuckleheads because I did everything I needed to do on paper for my grandma and my mom and everybody to be, you know, happy, dean's list, all the other stuff, playing football, running track, scholarships, all the stuff like that. But it wasn't until I gave up just being regular and was like, oh, it's time to turn up that I started actually losing people. Before that, it was the people that wanted to be with me then because the same way I am the person that I am here, I was the same person there as far as a figure. And like somebody looking up or like seeing like, oh, nah, he know what to do. But it wasn't for a purpose before. It was just we was just trying to get lit, find girls, you know what I'm saying? Like regular stuff. But when it came to the part where I was like, all right, I'm trying to be this person, I didn't necessarily care about what they was doing no more. I'm like, I care about what this young boy got going on. Wow. So like, bro, what are you mad at? And on top of that, like I'm spending more time with my girl. I'm not with my boys as much. Like I'm doing like the stuff that's gonna put me in the steps to be the person I need to be in a family. and as a mentor or whatever. And as soon as I started like separating myself from that and started getting more into like this structured sound, thinking about absolutely everything, each step person, that's when it was like, oh nah, like I don't, it's just me and my cousin now. So
that's valid.
yeah.
That's valid, bro. I feel like that's kind of the hardest part in people's development is like trying to grow, but with the same people around you.
Yeah.
It's like you can't.
But also having survivor's remorse and feeling bad for them niggas. Like,
Have you had to have those conversations?
With who?
Like those people that you've left behind, quote unquote. Have you had to have these conversations of explaining to them, listen, like you feel bad, you have the survivor's guilt.
I ain't explaining myself. I know I got something to do. If you want to talk, come holler at me. But I'm not explaining the fact of the matter that I'm trying to be great right now. And if I got to explain that to you, I shouldn't be talking to you in the first place. If I have to explain, I'm trying to be great. Like, what I got to explain that for? You should be able, real recognize real, don't it? So, I mean, it ain't really no conversations. It ain't no love laws neither. But some people got to make decisions, especially as men. We make a decision, and we got to stand on it. I stood on that decision to do that, and everything else that come from it. If you still on that side of the gate, I got a barbecue over here. We was going out there. You said like I'm cool, like it's different. So you feel me? That's
Wow. You talking about the brand?
Yeah.
A lot of times, brands are designed for specific lifestyles.
True.
Right. What is the lifestyle? If you could describe the ideal lifestyle or that a person would live.
Expensive.
To where expensive. I was gonna say that it's like a luxurious kind of. It feels that way.
Yeah, it's expensive. Yeah. Because the way that the garments are made, you can't have the lifestyle, that you want with those clothes on. Because it's like bespoke in a sense. It's coming from a menswear, very custom train of thought as far as the structure of the business, and then it's tying in streetwear. So I call it conceptual street prep. The prep is pretty much from like my years like spending time in like a Canadian suit company, and then wanting to take a pair of BBC I'm tripping right now, suspenders, and mixing that into the tailoring aspect of my suits when I go to work on a day-to-day basis, because I didn't want to wear the suit. I still wanted to tie in my life that I had with like Supreme and everything before like it's got too big. But I was trying to figure out how to mix those things and make them coexist. And then slowly but surely I just kind of got rid of the suit, and I just took the actual very precise measurements of what a suit is and tried to put that into a streetwear garment so that way when it lays on your body, it's like, when you wear a suit, you see that like little centimeter at the end of your jacket, or like certain things happen where you want your stuff to sit where your watch is, or like the way it lays on your neck or whatever, depending on the collar. I tried to take that actual concept and then put it in the streetwear, which takes a lot longer than people think, but it's still building to this day. But that's, essentially what it is. But when you see it, you kind of know. And also when you see me working, you also know that as well too.
I'm glad you touched on that. I'm glad you touched on the concepts and then how that translates to you actually making the product.
Yeah.
Because one of the questions that I had was, what are the things in fashion that the average consumer would overlook? So, for example, I think when you first said that, the thing that I think I would have overlooked was I didn't know that you were taking concepts from suit companies and applying them to your brand.
Yeah.
So therefore, if I'm the average consumer and I want to buy your T-shirt and I want to wear it as XYZ, it's like that's an example of something like a consumer won't know. I'm just buying because I think the design is cool and I want to wear it.
Exactly.
But I don't know that this was stitched a certain way to fit and look a certain. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
So like, what are some things that the average consumer just will not take the time to know?
Well, one thing I can say when you say the average consumer wouldn't know, the reason why they don't know is because I haven't perfected the way to deliver it to them. So it's not their fault. Okay. It's because I haven't been able to actually make it plain in sight enough for them to be able to say, "Oh, okay, I know exactly what this is." Now that's from like growing pains and development, if anything, but they wouldn't understand the actual time it takes to get a roll of fabric into the stuff that they're wearing, whether it's a jacket with a lining, pockets, buttons, zippers, a double stitch, a single stitch, whether it's 3/4, like an eighth of an inch away from the bottom, or like they don't know that type of stuff because that's not. They just want to buy it, but that's why when some people come to you and like, well, I got to save up some money, and I'm like, all right, that's fine, like save up your bread, but it really takes that much because if I come to you and I'm like, well, you got to pay me at least $700 for this, you're going to be like, for what? This jacket? This joint light as hell. It's this and that. But it's like, bro, I hand dyed it. I had to actually do this 3 or 4 times. Like, and if you start trying to explain that to somebody, it sound like you complaining to me about what you wanted to do. So it's like, that's not the, it's hard to communicate that. But the only way that you can communicate it is if you show it to them like a certain way. So it's definitely a hard book to write.
First, I want to say I love the accountability that you took immediately when it was like, because that could have easily been like, oh, they don't know this, but it's like, well, I'm not giving it to them to know yet. So I like the accountability on that. You talked about the suit company or the suit brand or suit industry, I'll say, inspiring what you're doing with Not Many Are Like Us. Yeah. Are there any other cultures that have influence or inspiration on maybe not the stitching, but let's say like the design of something or like the actual graphic design of something? What I mean by that is, for example, are you able to hear a Jay-Z lyric?
Of course.
And from that, you can now design something. Or like,
I'm not gonna lie, my design process is synchronized through music.
Explain that.
So I'll put it to you this way. I got a hoodie that I put out not too long ago. And a lot of the times the drops that I do make, especially earlier in my brand, they were actually direct interpretations of what I was going through in my life at that moment. And a lot of the times, because I've been listening to Hov for so long, he's so prophetic in a way for a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs, that he was actually, telling my story before I was. And there's a line in Beach Chair, and he says, "No compass comes with this life, just eyes." And that was a specific thing that I was going through. I felt like I didn't have any direction. I was the only person that was doing what I was doing. But there was no compass in my life. It was just what I was seeing, what I was going through, and what I was having. So I felt that. And that became a hoodie for me. And it was something where I took that concept. And Beach Chair for me, usually when I'm on the beach, I'm either looking at the horizon or I'm looking at the clouds. Most of the time I'm looking at the clouds because I'm daydreaming. So I took blue dye and I put it on a white hoodie, and I made the hoodie look like a cloud, and I put the quote onto the hoodie. And then I took a picture of my eyes, turned it into an animation, and instead of putting eyes at the end of it, I put a bunch of my eyes in different sizes at the end of the joint. So when it says no compass comes with this life, and then you just see, and it says just, and then you just see a bunch of my eyes going down the hoodie, and that's how the graphic became. So, yeah. But that's not even like, that's only the tip of the scale. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, keep going. I'm sorry.
But and then also too, like when I design in the house and I'm making a piece, I usually create playlists for whatever piece that I'm making. So when I did the Ocean Carter, I did the Carter jacket. Now the Carter jacket was named after Jay-Z, essentially. And it looked like an ocean to me. So, elephant tusk on the board of a sailing Libby docked on the Ivory Coast, Mercedes in the road, winding down the road. That's Ocean's from. Yeah. So that's why I called it Ocean Carter. But I listened to Marvin Gaye when I was making that whole like set of jackets. Yeah. So when I was making the jackets, the blues that that Marvin can give you was a part of the hues in the jacket. But when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to call it, I was listening to Hov, and it was like able to put the thing together. So like it's literally a collection of like a bunch of different creative thoughts.
Wow.
Yeah.
How often does that happen? How often? Because that seems very time consuming, actually. So
it is.
Yeah. So And I want to speak with respect to that, because you said before, like, we talked about people just buying shirts.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, like, I immediately would think, if I didn't see any pricing to your clothes, I would immediately think they're expensive because of the content you put out of you making it.
I appreciate
and you
that.
using your tools. And you, like, I would never, just by seeing that, I would never be like, oh, he's going to give me a $15 t-shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, it's impossible to almost think that, I feel like. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that because
I really appreciate
I remember you
that,
saying
though.
that, yeah, and I was like, I don't know why anybody would think that would be cheap. And then especially when I see you like hand stitching something, or like you do that thing, I don't know what it is, so you can correct me. It's a lot of paint in it, and you pick it up, and it's like wood board. You know what I'm talking about? No?
Yeah.
What is that? Can you explain what is that?
It's a lot of painting and it's a wood board.
It's like, bro, it's like a, so.
Oh, yeah. That's that's screen printing.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that's screen printing.
Okay. I've never seen that done before.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. I thought screen printing was like.
So what you seeing here is HTV, which is heat transfer vinyl.
Okay.
Now you can use that a lot within the industry, but screen printing it lasts a lot longer. It actually you gotta heat it up to like 320 something degrees.
Okay.
It's like you do the same thing with the heat transfer, but it's ink. It's an oil based ink that doesn't dry unless you put it up to 300 something degrees. But that screen that you see is like burnt with like photo emulsion. You know how they got the old photo rooms back in the day with the red light?
But they hang them.
Exactly. So you do that process with the mesh screen, and then it allows you to burn a picture, and in the picture you can spray out once you actually harden it with a LED light or UV light, whatever. Yeah. And then the picture comes through, and you just push the ink through it. And that's like it's a process within itself.
Yeah.
But like all of the stuff that you hearing me say, the reason why I take so much pride in it is because I taught myself all of it. When I was going through the process, I wasn't buying clothes. I was buying the machines. I was figuring that stuff out. So I really take it serious. Yeah.
I can tell.
So, yeah.
I can tell. I've seen you do the custom pieces for Frankie.
Yeah. I was trying to be Dapper Dan at that point.
So no more Dapper Dan? That's
no,
okay,
no doubt.
Okay.
No doubt. So for me, it was a very conscious thing to make sure that I was making, like, I think that was Frankie's like first big show.
Right, I think so.
So for me, in my head, I'm like, how can I just do something for that? Because, like, at least, like, I will be a part of our history in South Jersey and, like, the scene that we have by being able to give him a emerald green velvet vest with a crazy drawstring at the bottom, and then his face embroidered in it with his album cover on the other side. So it was like I was just trying to hop into that bag, and then the 4 on the back of it was for the family. I put a number 4 on everything because I do everything for the family. So it's like Frankie family, you feel what I'm saying? So this was just a part of him just being able to, like, get, like, you know, whatever. It's like getting a plate at the barbecue or getting a Christmas present or whatever. It's just like you get something that you can have forever. It's like a family heirloom almost, something like that. So, like,
that's hard.
That's what it is. Yeah.
That's hard. Shout out Frankie, man.
I appreciate you really knowing this stuff, too.
Yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, for sure. What's the collaboration process like? Is that I heard Jay-Z, I know you're a Jay-Z fan, so
yeah,
you can go there. I heard Jay-Z say one time, I was watching, did you see his Kevin Hart interview?
Of course.
You saw, okay. Remember when he asked him about the feature process, and he was like, basically, it's like off of relationships. Like, if I fuck with you, I'll give you a feature. If not, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. Is it similar in that regard to working with you?
Yes, it has to be like that. Like, I'm a majority of the brands in, like, South Jersey and in Philly have asked to, like, collab, use my expertise in some way, or ask me for, like, help making samples, whatever. And I don't do any of them. I've only done one out of the, I guess, 4 years that I've been doing it. And one, I take everything I do seriously, and you can't be nothing that you do specifically can actually make me want to collab with you. Because at my point in my eyes, it's like Louis ain't start collabing until, you know, streetwear really became the thing, and they had to figure out a way
to get into
that space. And a lot of people don't actually do what I do. A lot of people are just people that are product developers or graphic designers that put stuff together on paper or on a computer, and then they send it to China and with a tech pack or whatever. But I'm actually the person in China that knows how to do everything that they know how to do in China in America. So when I'm looking at somebody, I'm like, so what are we actually collaborating on? Because it seems to me like I'm going to be making a piece and you're just going to be putting your logo on it. Or you may have an idea about what it is that you want to construct. And for me, I'm like, well, I don't know if what you're doing actually is the same as what I'm doing. Because the full spectrum of my brand is to be not like any of you.
Wow. That came full circle beautifully.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like it's almost like an on brand, but like how can I actually collab with you? And the only way that I really feel like that I was able to collab was to be a silent, consultant, behind the scenes without people knowing that I'm doing something for your brand. So there's people that have stuff out that I've either created for them or helped them create to get where it needs to go. And then the relationship is business outside of like the visual thing. Like I've come into one collaboration that's actually going to be public, and that's my boys on South Street, Green and Rel, Status. They got a crazy shop on South Street from Virginia, like real cool dudes. I met them years ago. That ain't have nothing to do with being out here or nothing. It was just a relationship, and then we bonded over going through the same stuff in entrepreneur stuff. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, it's those types of collaborations that, like, it's life stuff. I'm not collaborating with you because you make something cool or whatever. It's like, do you really feel me though? Like, are you going through what I'm going through so that way this story that we are going to convey really makes sense? Because that's going to come out in the piece regardless. So I hope I answered the question.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, you absolutely answered the question. Can another brand approach you? For example, let's say Supreme catches wind of Not Many Are Like Us. Yeah. And they're like, we want to buy your brand. We want to buy your design. We want to buy your whatever. Is that a conversation you're willing to have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I got a million brands I can make. But the one thing that I can say is I always have to own it. Own the name, at least. Because as long as I own the name, I don't mind if somebody comes to buy it from me. Specifically because I just want to make sure that I own that intellectual property of the name and of the phrase. Because there's people out here right now that got that shit tatted on their skin.
That's tough.
So my little brothers live and die by it the same way I do. So it's like the company can be the company, but if you come to buy it from me, I will always be in charge of creative direction and the actual brand stuff. Like, you know, because essentially you want to have somebody that can take your brand and like distribute it to bigger places to make it huge. Just like we was talking about collaboration and being a percentage of something, because you can own 100% of nothing, just like Hov said in that Kevin Hart interview.
Indeed.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like it made sense for him to go to Cartier with the Ace of Spades. It ain't about emotions when it comes to like business. It's about getting it done and doing what you need to do for the people that you actually getting it done for. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind that, and that's not as long as I have some type of say in it, I don't mind it. But everything else, handle y'all business.
How important has content become to your brand? Now, I know you're no stranger to content because you were on Tumblr, so you already were kind of like not a stranger to content. Mm-hmm. But has it in any way changed the trajectory of your brand? Has it any way slowed you down because now you have to market it in a way that maybe is not your favorite, but I got to get it out, or like?
So it did both. It slowed me down and it sped me up. Okay. It sped me up to a point to where I had health problems, and I had to slow down because I was trying to keep up with the algorithms or whatever, and that was my first big growing pain in the business, honestly. And then it slowed me down because it made me actually realize, oh, okay, cool, I just need to set a plan. And now I actually look at content from a calendar standpoint than a post standpoint. So it did both.
Did both.
I don't want to talk too much on that because I don't want to just like it ain't really go down just yet.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Whatever you do feel comfortable sharing, though.
But
No barriers here. So
no
yeah,
doubt.
absolutely. So walk us through the best you can. Give us a Spark Noted version of the production process.
Okay.
So let's start with coming up with the design. Let's start there.
All right. So it takes.
Or no, let's go before that. How do you even decide what you're going to put the design on? Like, do you start with first? I'm going to make sweatpants. I'm going to start there.
Okay.
Then I'm going to. You know what I'm saying?
Sweatpants.
No. I'm saying like, do you start with saying like, okay, first the thing I'm going to make is a hoodie. Okay, so that's the first thing I know. Now I'm going to make the design for that hoodie, right? Or is it like you make the design first, then you decide what you're going to put it on? Then you know what I mean? Like, what's the order of operations?
Well, the order of operation is shopping.
Shopping.
Yeah. Because sometimes you want to, okay, I'll put it this way. It can be a piece that I can make that can have pockets of polo, zippers like Louis, elastic band on the bottom, like essentials that Jerry does. Like, you gotta kind of like be engulfed in something and actually know what it is that you can pick from the things that you really like. And then you go and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I actually like the way that you can access a pocket in two different ways when you wear certain polo jackets, like the more country club top style jackets with the quilts and everything like that you would get from like, whatever. It ain't a normal polo piece, but if you actually look at the construction of it, like the access of what you can do and how you can maneuver in that jacket is ridiculous. So that's a thought process right there. Then from there, you get on Pinterest, you get on Tumblr, you get on things like that, and you just kind of look. And you're just like, oh, wow, I like this color scheme. That ain't bad. Put that in the board. Oh, all right, cool. Like, I like the way that sit on the shoulder. That ain't bad. Okay, put that on the board. And then you construct. It's like an Iron Man suit where it's like different parts that's hitting you. Oh, I need that. And then finally it's that finished joint. And then you kind of got the whole thing put together. And then once you get to that point, then it's like, all right, let me draw it. Once you draw it, you kind of get the thought process down. It look kind of fire. Do whatever. Make it look whatever, however you want, just to be like artsy, I guess. And then from there, that's when you start to like move around and you start to go sourcing the fabric. You source your fabric. You go to like New York. You go to Philly. They got Fabric Row on 4th Street. You can go to like random spots and like flea markets. They be having fabrics, things. You can go to an upholstery spot. You can look it up online. You can do whatever. Travel. It don't matter. Because I can be walking around somewhere and see a pair of curtains and be like, oh, I need them. Because it just fits. Like, you never know. And then once you source that fabric, then you sit down and you start breaking down what it is that you really want to do and you start making a pattern. And a lot of the times making a pattern is really, really hard in a sense, or you can use an existing pattern that you already have and then manipulate it to do what you want it to do. So if I got a pattern for this shirt, I can take that sleeve, I can put the pattern down of the one sleeve and then say I want it to be longer and skinnier. I just draw the pattern and then I kind of take things away or I put them back on, you know what I mean? And then from there, once you get your pattern together, you put it on that material that you just got done sourcing, and then you cut the pattern out, and then you start to put it together. And then once you put it together, first you got to fit it to see if it fits. You go back, go back and do your corrections. Granted, I've been doing it for a little bit, so I kind of just be knowing. Like, but you go do your corrections, and once you do your corrections, you go ahead and you usually do that with muslin before you do it with the final material, because muslin is like a cheap material that you can just put whatever together with. You put it together that way. You see how it fits. You like it. Okay, cool. And then you go get the main stuff, the final product, and you put that together.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it's like, then you got to embroider. Then you got to put buttons on. Then you do the zippers. Then you do the whatever. So it's a process. You probably just got to press it off.
It turned on by accident or something?
It's probably just used to doing it. So probably got it set up.
Okay.
I wouldn't touch it if it ain't.
Yeah, make sure we didn't break anything.
Nah, you good.
Right. So how I'm hearing you talk, right? And I'm like, first of all, I think hearing you talk, I'm understanding actually what goes into making a shirt. That might sound dumb, but I just feel that I'm not well versed on like what it takes to actually make a shirt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not well versed on that. It sounds like the shirt process from start to finish can see 8 departments.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, right? And you're all of the 8 departments.
Yeah.
Like, that's, and you could just be making one jacket.
What bro say, Stamp?
Yeah, Stamp. Yeah, Stamp, bro. Yeah, shout out yeah. How long does it take to make a custom made shirt that you were inspired by? Not, I want to say shirt because that might seem a little easier. I want to say like a jacket.
Well, to be honest with you, it sounds long. It sounds like a long process if you're like really just brainstorming and thinking about it for months. But because I know what I'm doing, I can just get the fabric and just get to it. You know what I'm saying?
So
like,
how long is that then?
So like if it's a thing where I can just be like, oh, I want to make this right now, day or two.
Oh wow.
You know, maybe a week, but that's like the whole day. Like I'm sitting there, I'm like really taking my time getting everything together. Like it's like a whole, like cutting the pattern out and getting the pattern prepped for the actual assembly is like a couple hours within itself. Like steaming, like it's like, and especially if you're doing certain things, like you want to make sure that you wash and you dry the fabric to make sure that it's at its last stage of what it's going to be before you give it to somebody, because I can make a jacket, don't wash it and dry it, and then you wash it and dry it, and it's a completely different size. So I got to do that first and make sure that it's the right size. So when you get it, whether you wash it, whether you dry, whether you do anything, it's always going to remain the way that I gave it to you. So it can take up to 2-3 days, but that's like me just really just being in my bag. My phone's off. I'm not talking to nobody. Like I'm rarely eat. I'm probably not going to eat. The only time that I actually do is if my girl like has food, like it's like this.
Like puts it in front of you. Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
in
like,
stride of what you're doing.
Exactly. But other than that, or I got to go to the bathroom. But even then, like, I get it done, wash my hands, get back to it. Like, it's like but that's like when you really, really inspired. Because if you're not, that shit, it take a minute. Because you really got to go through each process and really think like, damn, like, what's going on? But then you also got stuff that you just like essentials with, like Jerry Lorenzo. He just got stuff that he just wanted to put out. He ain't had to put out a collection for years, bro. He just sold sweatpants for like 5 years, bro, in the same damn colors. And then he would just change it up a little bit, put a number on it instead of letters. People like that know how to do that and dress the world still and then run a whole company, that's different, bro. That's a stride. And now you able to do that and then drop a collection off calendar and then have one of the best collections that came out in fashion just recently. You know what I'm saying? While doing it at Adidas, while having pushed, you know, everybody that was in the Donda camp in general, like Ye in the with like it's heavy, like, so it's a lot to it.
Yeah, I'm actually blown away at how much goes into it, because if I want to make a t-shirt right now, I'm gonna call somebody who makes t-shirts, and I'm gonna call somebody who graphic designs, and I'm gonna be like, kind of like on a DJ Khaled it a little bit, and just
bring everybody together.
Everybody,
that's smart though.
You know what I mean?
That's very smart of you, because at the end of the day, time is what you want. So when you doing busy work, you're not necessarily making the money that you need to make, and you taking your time away from being able to get more money. So it's smart of you to do it that way. The only reason that it's a little bit different for me is because I want to be able to be and know exactly how each t-shirt, I want to dress the world for 10 years straight. Like I want to be in a space where somebody is taking my silhouette. Fashion Nova has it, H&M has it, Zara has it, whatever the whatchamacallits is, and they're like, oh, this is like, this silhouette is what's hot right now. Like when the flare pants came out, when the Mary jeans dropped, like it's certain things that take over the world, and that's the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to really do that, then you do it the way that I'm saying. But if you really want to just get some money real quick, then you do it the way that you saying.
Give me one of the fashion trends that you absolutely despise. What's a fashion trend that's popular or was popular at a point in time, and you just were like, I wish everybody would stop wearing that.
You know what? I don't necessarily. Well, this is the one thing that I do not like. I don't like when, and I hate to sound like. I don't hate to sound like this. Actually, I don't mind sounding like this. I don't like when men don't present themselves as men. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So whether it's a trend or it isn't, because it's been going on for years, that's not necessarily a trend. That's like kind of like a part of, like whatever. But there's some people like that go from, oh, I'm this guy, and then like ends up wearing a dress or whatever. I understand like you wanting to be artistically free and whatever the case may be, but in this day and age, with the way that kids are in the internet, with the way that, you know, females and males think, there's got to be a fine line somewhere where somebody knows who's the man and who's the boy. And there's a lot of people that are old as hell out here trying to look like somebody our age. Like, bro, I need you to be distinctive in who you are right now and how you want me to respect you. Because if not, there is no respect for you and nobody else around me. And if I ain't got no respect for my elders, then I ain't got respect for nobody. You feel what I'm saying? So, what we talking about? Like, you feel what I'm saying? That's the only thing I don't like when it comes to. I want people to actually be who they need to be for a structure standpoint in order to make sure that the family life, especially in our community, is growing exponentially and not dwindling because of the small things like that. You know what I mean? Like, we missing men in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was fine when all men just wore suits. You know.
You know who was
exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't when somebody had on a pair of boots, a pair of Dickies, and a T-shirt with a trucker hat. You know he was working. The dude in the suit may have been going to church, or he just got out of a courtroom. Like, you knew exactly what was going on. Not saying that I liked it that, you know, just all like everything is this, but I just like when men were men, women were women, and then you could tell the fine line between the two. You bring them together, and it co-mingles a happy, you know, I mean, granted, communication does that, but it's a fine line in between what it is and what it ain't. And a lot of people don't have any idea, and that's why they're coming up with a reason to be whatever it is that you want. Not saying that that's a problem, but it confuses people. And
by the masses, yeah. And it's like, I would like to see people not confused and actually have some type of foundation to have a clear thought to know exactly where they're going. You know what I mean? My favorite thing, and I guess what I say my takeaway from that is, it's my favorite thing, was that you have opinions. I love that you blended your opinions of the world, your social opinions, with fashion.
Yeah.
And that was simply just an opinion. Like, I asked you an opinion.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just like, oh, I hate when they wear this thing because I think it looks stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, within the fashion, there is a construct that I still abide by. And there's still like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't just like an unwarranted opinion, I guess.
Some people have a microphone. My voice isn't as big when I'm speaking. My voice is bigger when people are wearing it. God put my voice in the seam. He ain't put my voice in the microphone or in music or anything like that. Like, so if I'm going to reach the masses the way that I want to reach them, because when I'm working, I'm not really necessarily talking to anybody. But if I can put as much things that I can put together, especially this brand, I guess you can say, and that be my speaker box to get it to everybody. That's why I ain't got no problem with you coming to buy the company, but I'm going to run the integrity of it. I'm going to own the name, and I'm going to run the integrity. But y'all can take the LVMH little part of it, put it into these factories, distribute it however y'all want to. Of course, we want it to be ethically, so hopefully we coming out of Portugal. You know, where they actually give the workers in the Portugal manufactories, at least the one that I found, actually pays the workers like benefits and gives them real good. Yeah, like I'm thinking about it from like each standpoint, because I plan on having like, granted, I'm not sure how many fashion companies have necessarily had stocks and bonds. But you know how you get into a place. You ever watch Billions or like Succession or anything like that?
I've been meaning to watch Succession. No, I haven't.
All right, so when I want to have a valuation on my company at one point in time where they're like, okay, this just hit the market, we can go public. Like, I want to be in
IPO
that space,
shit. Yeah,
IPO type shit. You feel me? So in that space, like, I want to be ethically sound on I think about all that stuff now. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's my plan. That's like where I'm going. Like I ain't dreaming that. That's a goal.
What is your relationship with fear or doubt? Because I hear you talk, and certain people when they talk, you believe them, and it's not just because they sound confident. It's not that simple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the quiet work. It's their demeanor. It's the things that they don't say. You know what I mean? It's you could have answered the question this way, but you chose to answer it this way. You know what I mean? It's like those things, right? Yeah. What is your relationship like with fear or doubt when you have these huge goals that you know you can hit?
Yeah.
But we only see you in the gear, in the confident Kelvin Michael that the finished product that hits the internet, right? What's the other side of that?
I mean, honestly, bro, I don't do well with any of it. I'm always scared. I doubt almost everything, bro. I'm a head case, bro. That's why I can't smoke weed. That's why I'm like, I don't. I don't want no parts, cause at the end of the day, bro, like for me, that's the sign that I know I gotta keep going. Cause the devil only taunts you and gets you like that when you doing the right thing. At the end of the day,
he gotta slow you down a little.
You feel what I'm saying? So he gotta do a little something. And like for me, I've gotten to the point to where like doubt and like fear is like that, like part of. It's like them friends that you gotta be like, bro, whatever. Nigga, like, come on, we just gotta do it. Like we gotta stop talking. We just gotta get right. Like you feel me? So I'm ready to jump off a cliff. Like not this is not no, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm ready to get to it, even if I am scared. It's one of those things where it's like I let my body do the talking. I don't let I gotta let my legs run for me, and then we just figure it out as we going. Because if I do anything completely like without fear, I mean that's like just getting up and going to the bathroom. There's no, you gotta go to the bathroom. Like there is no purpose in it. So it's like the only thing that I feel like fear and doubt is the reason why you have purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, if I fear that, it's like, oh, all right, like it's up, it's up, like, and that's when you start to kind of like get into that psyche where you like, all right, nah, I gotta get in my bag right now. Like there is no, I gotta get in my bag right now. And I got to face it head on. And even if I do go through it and I mess up, it's like Jenga, bro. Knock the whole thing down, build it back up, and then start pulling from different places to see if you got better at that pull just yet. And then all of a sudden, you just like looking at it like that. There go a substructure right there. There go a foundation, and there go some 2x4s. And it got a little something going on. I can start putting drywall up now. You feel what I'm saying? I can start putting down some hardwood, throwing up some pictures. And that's my relationship with fear and doubt, because I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. It's been them times.
It's real. It's real. Yeah, it's real.
It's been them times, for real.
Sheesh. And anyone who's seen the podcast, like really faithful listeners of the podcast, probably know where I'm about to go based on what you said. Yeah. But because I've said it before, but it's one of my favorite just concepts. I think it might have been Jay Shetty. I don't know who it was. They were talking about. And before I say this, I want to say I see a lot of that in you, not only because you just said that, but because of I can tell your relationship with process.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Right?
thing.
So it's like when I say this, it'll make sense. But the clip was he was saying that people, like all the best people in the world are able to start over no matter how much success they get. Yeah. So for example, he said most people will, let's say they're climbing a mountain, and they get 70% up that mountain. Yeah. The next 30 is extremely dangerous. The odds of you actually making it this next 30 is very low. The terrain is fucked up. You're going to slip. There's wolves, whatever the case. A lot of people will still try at 70 to complete that 30.
Yeah.
Right? He said all the best people in the world are able to go up that 70, realize that the next 30 is impossible, go back down and try another way up.
Yeah.
To get to the top.
Yeah.
Right? He said a lot of people, they get so
Prideful.
close or they get so much success that they get to a point where they're not willing to dismantle it all and start over. And then that's where they fuck up because then they, they fuck it up.
That's ego.
Ego, correct. And the people that he mentioned who said it were like people like Steve Jobs, people like Elon Musk, Elon Musk apparently is fucked up a million times, right? But like we now know him to be who he is, right? So it's like, I hope that to be a compliment to you because when I heard you say that, I was like,
it is.
You know what I mean? I see you being that person where it's like, if you, like I told you, it was like 8 people that might see this t-shirt before it comes out. You might fuck up on the 4th step and it's like, you could be like, fuck it, somebody will buy it. Or you could be like, this is a dub and we got to go back. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, bro. Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
That's actually one of the greatest compliments I've gotten.
Word.
So I appreciate that.
Word.
Yeah, no
I'm
doubt.
glad. I'm very glad. So I want to talk about some of your other endeavors.
Okay.
I want to talk about. So you are a director and producer.
Yeah.
Of Teaspoon of Love Cookbook Challenge.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the show. I want to get into directing because I'm very fascinated about you being a director. Tell us a little bit about the show. Like, just start us off with what it's about.
So actually, me being a director, and then like the next thing you'll talk about, which is me being a program coordinator for Roots to Prevention. They all they intermingle.
Yeah. So talk to them. Talk about them how they exist.
Teaspoon of Love Cookbook Challenge is a cookbook challenge where we bring in people to learn how to teach people or show people a certain type of meal with a certain type of ingredients.
Okay.
Now, the actual objective of this show is to show people in the Camden area, low income areas and other places, not just low income, but like specifically the Camden area, because we all have been in Camden at some point in time and just wanted to get something to eat real quick. So you go to the corner store, you go get you a little cheesesteak for like $5 real quick. Go get you a Everfresh. Go get you whatever. And there's a lot of deaths actually happening through health, not only through violence. And if we can somehow stop and help the people with death through health, we want to do that. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to teach people how to cook with produce. And we're also trying to teach people. So my program coordinator side is where we teach people how to actually grow their own products. And then we also give them a person that will buy from them as well. So we're trying to turn people into agricultural entrepreneurs, have them eat a little bit more healthier. And then the TV show itself is we show them how to be able to cook with the ingredients that you're getting from the food bucks that you can get from us or virtual, like it's from Virtual Health or whatever the case may be. And you're able to take those ingredients like a pepper or onion, whatever, it don't matter. And we show you how to cook with those specific ingredients. Everything is vegan. There's no meat involved in it. Now, I eat meat. But this is just to show people that are getting those products and can't afford the food how to still get a tasty meal out of it and cook something so that way they don't have to worry about it not being entertaining to their kids or not feeling like they getting the same type of thing they getting from there. But also, too, you getting the experience of growing. You get the money. You're able to get some money, which we call it the Open Food Network, where you come and you buy. We buy the things from you, and it's like a vast majority of things that we just trying to like. And just put it together. And that's what TV show is. Wow. Yeah.
I want to shout out Rave real quick. Rave said, the person who's letting us use the studio.
Yeah.
She said she has a good relationship with food now, but she said she was coming from a bad one. And then she kind of like, changed her lifestyle. And she said that people always say diseases run in families. And she said, that's not what it is. It's diets that run in family, like the way you cook and what you cook with. And
it's the recipes that run in the family.
Right. And that's what's causing the disease. Like, you know what I mean? So I hear you say that. And first of all, it sounds almost identical to your business.
It is.
You know what I mean? And like I heard you say like how like we are the ones providing this. And then like, I'm like, you said the same exact thing when you were talking about your t-shirts. Like you're the provider, you're the, whatever.
But that's my life, bro. I'm not a consumer. I never was. I wasn't born to be a consumer. I was only here to ever produce something. And that's the thing. Like, and I know that. Now, some people don't know that. That is something that I've always known. And that's what I'm always going to be. You feel what I'm saying? And on top of that, life is a lot cheaper wholesale, and it's a lot better to be a business in America than it is to be a human. Because
wow, say that again. Say that part again.
Right. It is, if you think about it.
Wow, it's better to be a business than it is to be a human.
Yeah, if you work and you get your taxes, or you know taxes is coming around, and you got to pay back money because you owe the IRS. The only way that you can actually equal that out or get some money back to you is if you got something that's going to offset it. So, the business. And you know, a EIN is the same length as essentially like your Social Security.
I did know that, yeah.
So your Social Security, you can have two of them, except one of them is a business and one of them is you. A lot of the times, they're not giving a lot to a person unless you have a certain type of track record with the bank or with whatever. But when you're a business, it's a lot. I mean, granted, you got to build it, but it's easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I saw somebody say you should either LLC or trademark your name.
You should. Dick Gregory don't got his name no more. He one of the most famous black people you can think of.
He doesn't have his name anymore.
He doesn't own his own name. Look it up. And you know who Dick Gregory is, right?
Yeah.
He
seems like the person who would know to own his name.
And yeah, the reason why he's the person that would know is because he went through it, and now he's telling people to know.
That's I didn't mean to say that.
No, I'm trying.
Yeah.
The reason why he's the person that would know is because it actually happened to him. Yeah.
And I could see where somebody would want to take his name.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. Because he was a brand.
I think I'm gonna go trademark my name.
You should.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. That's why, like, when you look at yourself like America looks at you, or especially if you're a valuable asset to something that has anything remotely close to capitalism, they want to own it. Because if they own it, they control it. Legally. Theoretically. Everything. So it's like, you gotta make sure you on top of that. Kai, you know who Kai is? Cool Kai?
I do not.
Cool Kai. So he's like, hey, he has a big lawsuit going on with Nike right now because of the sneakers that he's been selling, right?
Like Kyrie Irving?
No. I think him and Kyrie Irving is going to actually do. He's a jersey guy.
Oh, okay.
Got his own manufacturer. He been doing numbers for a minute. He sells sneakers, but they look just like the Jordan ones. But he has a manufacturer and he deals with a guy named Dave or something like that. I forget his name, but the other guy got another company called Reeves. Okay. These dudes are super big entrepreneurs, black guys, young, like our ages. Mm-hmm. They're a little bit older than us, but they doing numbers. And now Nike is now suing him because he's winning, bro.
And now it's like, you took our shit.
Yeah, but for real, it is that, but it's just because he's good at it. But then not only does he have the actual trademark for that, he has a trademark from his name as well. He decided to go online and be like, yo, you should really think about trademarking your name, blah, 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 blah. I can give somebody in the comments right now a chance to trademark their name. And he like was doing it as a giveaway. Wow. Yeah. I guess this is not a joke, bro. As much as people are doing things and, you know, doing things, they're just doing stuff. They ain't actually in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like that intentional, that purpose, that everything. Like you really gotta be. That's why I say like I'm here to produce something. I'm not here to consume anything. And if I'm going to consume it, I'm consuming what I'm producing.
Remember we were here before, and I said you taught me a lot about my own equipment in like 5 minutes, bro. I feel like this is happening again. Like I feel like it's right. So how do you get here though, bro? Like all right, there are some people who I look at, and all of my favorite people have a quality that I wish I had. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. That's why they're your favorite people.
Correct. And when I hear, and I just met you, obviously, but like, let's say I know someone who is, let's say, as I would say, disciplined and educated as you are. Let's say, like I've met, you know, very few, but people who are similar, right? And then you always look at that and you say, what about this person do I like? What about this person do I want to take and implement in my life? And I feel like whenever I do that thing, and I know the answer to my own question, but like what happens is I'll say, okay, I want to get better at, I sat down with Kelvin today and he told me his routine. He told me his routine, how he's disciplined. He gets up every day, 5 a.m. and like boom, 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 boom. So like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Right. And it feels like you could be working on one thing, but then the other person, let's say you in this case, feels like they have things 1 through 10 perfect and we got it and we know it and I'm financially literate and I'm a historian as well and I'm also an entrepreneur and I also understand that I need to be the manufacturer and the supplier. And it's like, I feel like you just have everything figured out. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but hell no.
But I say that to say, like, I feel like very soon in your life realize that you were head and shoulders above other people in your age group. Right? Like, that's when you said you had to kind of, like, separate yourself from the people that you were kind of with. And then, like, I gotta go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is this natural? Is this given to you by father figures in your life? Is this given to you by, like, where does this come from? How does this happen? How do you become the polished savant of life? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does that happen?
It's so funny that you saying this to me.
And I'm not, right, I want to be clear. I want to be clear to the audience as well. Like, I'm not, nowhere am I saying, like.
No, I understand what you're saying, but it's just
this is like the guy, like, you know what I mean? But
it's just funny because, like, you ever heard that, the Mike Epps comedy stand-up where he was like, everybody throw down your problems. And then the motherfucker that, like, ain't got no leg and all types of other stuff, he pick up your problems and run as fast away as he can. And now you got to deal with his. So, like, when I'm hearing you saying this, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Because, nigga, I'm not necessarily, this is the one time that I gotta say, we are all human. We all are going through similar things. So I'm not that person, but I was also raised in probably, I have a great family, bro.
Shout out to the family, bro.
Like, my mom, for one, my mother has been through the most, but my mom has never held an emotion back. She's never held a conversation back. She really speaks to me. Like, she's been doing that with me since I was young. I've been with her since she was 22. I was going to college with her, bro. I remember it. Wow. Going to the school store, getting gobstoppers and shit. Like, my mom really my dog. Now, granted, we've always had, like, problems. Not always had problems, but we've always butted heads in some cases. But my mom really has instilled a lot in me. I also come from, like, a very political and activist family. My grandfather is crazy. We got over 100 years of black-owned farm in Glassboro. Like, it's still growing on it today. You see what I'm saying? So, like, my uncle is one of the, if not, like, you know, most influential people in agriculture right now. My aunt has one of the biggest franchises in McDonald's. Been in the business, like, it's like a lot of things that I've come from, but also, too, the other side of my family is in the streets. Like, my dad has been through the ringer. Like, completely two sides of the fence type shit. Like, I've seen both sides of the fence, and I've been given conversations about all of them without even asking for it. So, like, all I literally had to do was just, all right, cool. And I'm not somebody that needs to figure out whether or not it's wrong to do that. If I don't like my grandmother said this to my uncle one time, because he's just a nut. That's my uncle, though. I love you to death. He know when I say
all
that.
All my uncles are nuts.
He know when I'm saying that I'm not being disrespectful. But my grandma was like, you know, your life would be a lot easier if you was just obedient. And I was like, wow, that does make sense, because if I just listen to you, you won't do anything to me but give me everything I want. So that's why. So in my head, it's like, why even be disobedient? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because even though I might not like it, but a lot of the time, something that my mom or somebody telling me to do ain't gonna take that long. Truthfully,
like a chore, for example, or something.
Because that's all they asking you to do. Mm-hmm. Other than that, you get everything else you want. I'm gonna feed you. I'm taking you to practice. I'm doing all this other stuff. It's like, bro, just do this for me. You don't have to do anything else. Just do this, and then you can do whatever you want after that. Knock it out. Like, so in my head, it's like, if I'm going to look at it from the chore standpoint, I need to look at it from the life standpoint. Like when my uncle went to jail for basically my whole adolescent life. Okay, if can't do that, and if I am going to do that, I better be doing a hell of a good job at it. Because the only time that you know of a drug dealer is super good at it, or I'm not saying that my uncle sells drugs, I'm not saying that, but like somebody in the streets is good is if they stay out of prison. That means you smart. If like the money is your report card when you there, what you got to show for it? Like if you're in a corporate setting, there's certain things that you just got to do, and you might not like it, but there's certain things that you just got to do because you actually signed up for it. And as a man, you sign up for something, you got to stand on what you stand. You got to stand on what you chose, like your decision. So let me just do what I just did, do what I need to do to figure out how to get out of it if I don't like it, and then create that opportunity. But like, I ain't got nothing to do with me. Everything that I am today has nothing to do with me, bro. It's just, I mean, it got something to do with, my experiences. But the only reason I knew how to react in those experiences is because I just listened to a lot of people for a very long time, and especially the people that didn't do it right. And the people that didn't do it right, I made sure I listened to them. And the people that did do it right, I'm like, okay, cool.
Taking it with like a grain of salt.
I'm not taking it with a grain of salt, but I'm listening to what you're saying. But since you're telling me what's right, now let me just see if I can put my own spin on it. Because now I got to filter what it is that I want from you. Because I don't want to be you, but I want to be myself at the end of the day. But I'm hearing everything you're saying. You did it right, so I have every reason to respect what you're saying. And that's all that is, bro. Like, my family is different, bro. And that's a big part of the not many are like us thing, too. It's the family thing, like I was telling you. I mean it when I say it. Like this, that's why I trademarked the name. I trademarked everything. Like, I have to live and die by this. Because my grandma live and die by me. My papa live and die by me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Live and die by my. I have to do it. Because that's the tradition in the family, if anything. Live and die by what you're doing, fight for what you really want, and then make sure that motherfuckers know what's going on so the next thing can be easier for everybody else. That's it. And it's like, to me, that's it's not hard.
Shout out the family, man.
That's it. The family, for real.
Bro.
That's why I said I put the 4 on everything, because I do everything for the family, bro.
It was funny when you said life would be easier when you be obedient. Cause I talk about my students a lot because I just love them. So I guess I talk about them a lot. Yeah. But I got one student who just like it's almost like he's choosing to have an attitude when he walk in the door. Like, and it's like, bro, if you just like listen to me, like I'm not asking much of you. Like for example, one day he freaked out because I asked him to take his headphones out. Now the problem is I have him first period. Yeah. So first period like it's the worst class, not in a bad way, but it's the worst class just because like people come to school late. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like it's just never
the day.
Right. It's never as solid of a class as like 5th period because it's just like people coming in late, they tired, it's first thing, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever. Yeah. He comes in and he won't take his headphones out. Yeah. And he has AirPods in. And like you're not supposed to have like everybody knows it. It's a small school. The rules are pretty sound. Like you're not supposed to wear headphones, right? He comes in wearing headphones. I'm like, all right, I need everybody to take their headphones out. Right. And usually if it's like one person who I don't want to single out because they might be having a bad day, it's like everybody take your head. Like I'm saying, whatever. Yeah. This day I might have went to him actually straight up and said, like, y'all need to take your headphones out, we about to get started. And it's always something like that. Like, y'all need to take your headphones out, we about to get started. Like, it's not like, yo, what the fuck? It's like, we about to get started, bro. I need to take your headphones out.
Right.
All right. Keeps going, like, doing what he's doing, like, getting ready. I'm like, and it's the kind of thing where it's like, if I don't make sure you take it out, I'm going to turn my back and you're not going to take it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to watch you take it out to know that you're going to take it out. You feel me?
That's funny.
So I'm like, so I'm like, I'm going to say his name. I'm like, yo, bro, like, I need you to take your headphone out. Like, bro, why you always doing this? Like, why you always, I'm like, yo, I just want you to take, like, first of all, you know you got to take your headphone out. Like, it's not like I'm asking you something that you didn't know prior to today. And it's like, why you make it, like, you know this, bro. And it's like, why like a week later he come talking about like a grade up, like upping his grade to the next thing, and I'm like,
bro, I just wanted you. Imagine what your headphone would have did for you just right now.
Kelvin, bro, when I tell you like, and I knew it was gonna happen because he's not the highest performer, so like I knew it was gonna happen. He's gonna want more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I'm not even gonna freak out on you. I'm gonna wait till you need help. That's what I do now. Like I'm gonna wait till you need help. And I'm gonna remind you of the moment where I just asked you to take your headphone out and you freaked out. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's real parent. That's real parent. Parental,
bro.
I don't know if I said that.
Parental.
Parental.
Bro, he came to me like 2 weeks, bro. I was like asking for a grade up, and I was like, bro, do you remember when I asked you to take your headphone out? And he literally was like,
yeah.
And I'm like, bro, do you understand now? Like what you're asking me versus what I was asking you. You understand? Like
the levels is
you could have just been obedient. Like you feel me? So that just
helps.
Yeah, bro.
Because for people that want you to listen to them, when you listen to them, that means you trust them. And because you listen to them, that means they trust you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a bond that's created there. Because I know I can count on you. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. You want to be, it's accountability. You want to be able to count on somebody. And when you don't, you like, oh, I ain't got nothing to do with it. And then they mad because they see somebody else getting that, I don't want to say love, but they getting that. They're like, well, why you treat him like that? Because he's obedient. And it's not like I'm out here asking you to go do something crazy. I just want you to do these small things. And this, if you actually look at it, will make your life easier.
Yes. This is benefiting you, not like, you know what I'm saying? Like you get benefit from this, but yeah. I just got triggered when you said you gotta be obedient because I was like, like PTSD came out. So tell me, the show, is it still going on? The cookbook show still going on? Okay. Is it like on a season basis?
Yes, it's on a season basis. Okay. We actually coming up on our last episode.
Very nice.
And it's a fairly simple concept, bro.
Fire.
You put some food in front of somebody, they reveal it, they look at it and like, oh, okay, like, you know, this is what we have. And then they figure out what they're gonna make right then and there. And then they start pulling stuff away. We figure out what they do want, and they start going to work. They just think of something, and that's like the challenge. You think of something what to do with these random ingredients, and that's how we're able to give the variety to people because it's you never know what's going to get made out of this. So we just trying to give you something that ends up being, you know, dope, essentially, and it's a good bonding thing for like people and their kids too, or you know, a good thing for certain people like the grown-ups that want to just come in and find out how to make a pasta with wine or something, like, you know, so certain stuff. So it's cool.
Is there directing in your future outside of the show? Is directing something you're pretty passionate about?
We produced the actual, me and my boy and then like a few other people, of course, we produced a movie that we actually premiered in AMC in Cherry Hill last year.
Yeah. What's it
called?
Go well. It didn't go well? Why?
It just didn't go well, bro. It was the first movie that we've ever made.
Oh, so you mean like sales? Like you just didn't sell out?
No. Like
okay.
The actual, just everything didn't go well, bro. Like the whole process was crazy. Like trying to get it done, the editing, everything. It didn't go well, bro. Right, it didn't go. Mind you, it's like imagine really trying to make a movie, bro.
Yeah, that'd be impossible. Yeah.
Like it's not impossible.
Right. That's why I stopped.
But
it's hard.
It's hard, and you know, whether you change the people, you change the thing, whatever, the process, the writing, whatever, it's hard. And we definitely did premiere that movie in AMC. Like, bro, it was like a big premiere too, though. Like, mad people came out. That's tough. Like, and granted, I'm not trying to make it seem like I was the reason for any of this, but I was a producer. I was an executive producer for the movie. But when we premiered it, like, people's families, my family, like red carpet, the little ropes, everything, interview little stand on the outside.
Tough, though,
bro, you know how like the movie posters is in like the theaters?
Yeah.
Like our movie poster was there.
Like on the wall.
On the wall,
like
right
thing,
next to like an Avengers type joint. Like stuff like that. And then like got the credits on the bottom. Like you can see your name. My mom like, oh my God. Bro, but it just didn't go well, bro. It just didn't go well, bro. It was bad. Well, I'm not gonna say it was bad. We premiered a movie.
That's kind of what I'm looking at it as.
We premiered a movie.
You put out a movie in a movie theater, bro.
Yeah,
like,
bro, it's crazy.
Different.
And so I don't know exactly the name of their specific company, but that was working with us. We were working with them essentially, but It was a beautiful thing, bro. It was a beautiful process, although the end product wasn't the best, but it was an amazing journey, bro. I was at some point in time, I'm like, I'm sick of this, but it was an amazing journey. And they stuck it out very, very. It was dope. So yeah,
it's funny how you're saying how it was so bad because in my head, obviously, I know you didn't make like a Martin Scorsese.
Mind you, nobody knows I did this.
Really?
Like some people do, but like if you ask the people on the Instagram, like my Instagram, nobody knows I have this TV show. Nobody knows that I'm a program coordinator helping people in the hood doing things with agriculture. Nobody knows I did that movie. Like this is like my real life is like pretty cool.
Yeah.
But people only actually see just me making clothes because it's a product. But everything else is just a source of income. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just use Instagram for production, to sell a product.
Yeah.
But it's just hilarious because I wish people knew like do these stories,
bro. I would like to say, all right. So I feel like I've always been into film, but I don't think I realized that I loved film until like I got older.
Yeah.
Not like you're really in something you don't realize you really like are like, I actually fuck with this.
I went to school for TV and radio production.
Oh, you was really like you was in there.
Yeah.
Hands deep. Like you was in there. Okay.
Final project, a reel, like a video, everything. Yeah.
So that's why I'm hearing you say it. And I'm like, obviously, I'm not expecting it to be Martin Scorsese's best product, but like, I'm like, bro, you put out a fucking movie, like that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that's hard. Like, that was my immediate thought, bro. I didn't think whether quality, whatever. Like, I wasn't even thinking that, bro. I'm like, bro, this nigga put out a movie in the Cherry Hill movie theater. Yeah, like even people put out movies now. It's like they come out on like DVDs, and it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Like, it was premiered in the movie. Like I plan on doing another one.
That's tough, bro.
Like I for damn sure plan on doing. I already got the skeleton of it already done. It's a very very it's very very distinctive to the conversation that we were having about the brand. Okay. So like it's going to be the only way that I know how to actually speak is to put something in like an artistic way. Right. So like, you know how when you watch Denzel and you see like the concept of the movie, like with Training Day, like there was very specific, like that's how I plan on. That's why I said I don't know how. The reason why people don't get it is because I haven't given it to them yet in the way that I want to. So like this movie that I want to put out, I think is going to be that.
That's tough.
You know, and that's going to be like, you know, marketing points, like little ads, little stuff here and there. So it's hilarious. I got the music getting scored up for it and everything. Like it's a real thing.
That's tough, bro. Yeah. I truly, bro. First of all, I want to wish you luck and encouragement and all that for your finished product. So I'm very excited. That's fire, bro. That's fire.
Yeah, we did the first one. I see what it took to do the first one. So the second one, I'm like, oh nah,
and now you know.
Exactly. Yeah. And I can premiere it for real. Like
tough.
It's up. So
that's tough.
I definitely let you know.
Yeah, please do, bro. Please do, bro. Because somebody always like, you know how people ask you like, this is a very interesting question. I think it means a lot more than what people think. But if somebody asks you like, yo, if you could do it all over again, like let's say start at 6 and you could start your life all over again, and you picked a talent or a specialty or whatever to get into, what would it be? And mine, I think, is film directing. Because I realized how much I love film. And I think I realized it when I started dating my fiance. Because she hasn't seen any movie, bro. Like, right now, I can tell you right now, like, yo, you've seen The Titanic.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, you've seen fucking The Dark Knight.
Yeah, of course.
You've seen, like, some movies just, like, you've seen, right? None of them, bro. Yeah. And it makes me realize, like, a lot of times, like, she kind of pointed out to me because it'll be things where it's like, yo, did you see this? This is one prime example. Remember in Shrek where Fiona's fighting the people in the forest and she jumps up and does the Matrix thing in slow motion? Yeah. I was like, one day I was like, oh, that's from the Matrix. And she was like, what? And I was like, that's from the Matrix. And she was like,
what?
Yeah. And I had to like literally pull up the Matrix and show her Trinity doing it. And she was like, yo, you know a lot about like movies and shit like that. And I'm like, bro, I really do fuck with like directors and shit like that.
I got my girl on a whole different level now. She actually she can pick apart a plot in a movie in no time,
bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Let me ask you: are you the type of person to pause a movie because you thought of something and you're like,
yeah?
Does she do that now?
Yeah.
That, bro, my fiance will pause a movie every 5. Do you think that shit? That's not even anything. Do you think that's no? It's not.
But one thing I can say is my girl really she be on point. Like she be.
That's tough.
Yeah, it be. My girl's really putting me onto a whole different side of movies too, though. So
tough.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right, listen. Before we go,
yes.
Now that I know you, I'm super. I'm a film dude, bro.
Yeah.
Give me your top 5 favorite movies.
Top 5 favorite movies
all time.
That's hard. Okay, well, I'll
5 is a good number. I think
5 is a good number. So I guess I can break it down into I guess categories.
Mhm.
So I think my favorite sports movie would be actually what's crazy is my favorite sports movie is the one with Kadeem Hardison and what's it called? It was back in the day.
It's basketball.
6 Man.
Ooh, okay.
It's a basketball movie.
Yeah,
But you remember Fletch was playing and everything. That was one of our favorite what's it called? I got a lot of favorite movies. Can I just give you series? Like
Sure.
I'll put it this way. So I love
whatever
the
you get.
Oceans. I love the Ocean series, like Ocean 11,
and all that,
Ocean. I love Transformer series.
Wow.
That's like a Fast and the Furious series. So I'm a Fast and the Furious.
Stop, bro. They need to stop.
But no,
They need to stop. They need to stop.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. No, they don't. I'm a Fast and the Furious bull.
Okay.
A Bronx Tale.
Okay.
I only got one more.
Mm-hmm. I think you got 2 more.
2 more. Okay.
Yeah.
Love Jones. I need one really super gangster movie. I mean, of course,
There is a right answer. If you said a gangster movie, there is a right answer that I'm expecting.
that is a right answer.
Yeah.
But it's this hard though because
There's a few.
Paid in Full is definitely one, but American Gangster.
That's the one. That was the one.
American Gangster is a good joint too. And I'm just naming like stuff off because I have so many movies that I can like just. But I do love a good goofy movie every once in a while. Like that was
Really?
a great joint. When I was a young boy,
You
I
got
watched
range.
that movie.
you
Yeah.
got
I watched like
Okay.
everything, but it's just I think more so than anything, I like parts of movies.
Like
It's
scenes,
like
the
exactly.
scenes.
I'm like even with sports, like I like players. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll dial in on like a specific player and be like, yo, the way that he plays the game, sees it, like that's what's entertaining. Like the type of way that it's like a way that Wes Anderson can shoot something in like the Grand Budapest in comparison to the way Spike Lee does his close-ups. Like it's certain shit like that. Like, but yeah, that's a Bronx Tale is definitely one. Love Jones is always gonna be one. Them like
Okay.
the 2 love story movies, of
Okay.
course.
You got the Ocean series. You got Transformers. And then you still got American Gangster or Paid in Full. You still got to.
I'm going with Paid in Full because Paid in Full reminds me of me and my uncle.
Okay.
When I was younger, like my uncle was doing this thing. He had me in this, in the seat playing the music. We'd go to like Mount Ephraim, any of the sneaker stores out here. He'll grab me a brand new pair of New Balances, crazy chain. He'll give me the turtlenecks, the jean suits. Like so, like every week he'd just pick me up. We'll just go shopping and get right. And it made me feel like how Mitch was with Sonny. You know what I'm saying? And it's actually crazy because my aunt, my cousin, my uncle's best friend, he was actually best friends with Little Sonny, like in real life.
Like the real
Little Sonny, yeah.
Okay,
So and then they moved when everything was happening with all them, like the Paid in Full story. When all that stuff was happening, my aunt and my uncle actually moved to Jersey, and that's how my uncle and his best friend, Sass, they became friends. That's when they actually moved out. When like Alpo and all them niggas was going that stuff, they moved out the hood because it was getting crazy.
That's tough.
It's actually kind of crazy now that I think about it. So Paid in Full.
It's crazy too because it makes sense because Jersey is right there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a movie, but it is still New York, which is right there.
Yeah, it's right there,
It
bro.
makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
And the main reason I think I like American Gangster the most is because 1, Denzel, but 2, the soundtrack.
Jay-Z.
Of course.
So tell us, bro, what's next? What can we look out for as consumers? What are we looking out for from Kelvin Michael in the near future?
Well, to be honest with you, right now, I've been building a lot of different patterns to set up for a pop-up shop later in the year.
Tough.
So that's what's really coming. I'm not really looking to just drop anything as of right now because I've been taking on a lot more clients as like a consultant.
Okay.
And just basically charging them a premium to like get them started with a manufacturer and like have them manufacturer ready, and then also giving them the access to the manufacturers that they need to get what they need to get done. And I make their samples for them. But I've been slowing down my process because of that social media thing that we were talking about. And so you'll be getting a lot of great content coming soon, and then you'll be getting a lot of one-on-ones coming soon. Yeah, and then once the algorithm is in my favor, then I'll start dropping.
Tough. Yeah, super tough. Definitely. Listen, bro. It is true. This is one of our longer episodes, bro. The conversation has been beautiful.
Yeah,
I want to thank you. No, bro. We love it. We love it, bro. Like I said, bro, don't stop yourself from talking, bro. We love it. We love it. Listen, bro, I want to thank you so much for being here.
No problem.
Bro, this has been amazing. It's been so fun. Deck, want to thank you for being here as well, bro.
Deck was like,
Deck was like, that shit was long as shit. Like, listen, man, on behalf of the whole pod, obviously, none of us are here, but on behalf of the whole pod, my name is Steven. I go by Ugly Steven on Instagram. Kelvin, you want to plug yourself real quick?
Yeah, Kelvin Michael Jr. on Instagram. Kelvin Wagner on Facebook. I really only really get on Instagram. You can follow me on Pinterest, Sensei KM, if you want to get some inspiration.
Super tough.
Oh, follow my archive page too though, called km2.archives on Instagram, where I just post it's like my new Tumblr page, I guess. It's like I just post a lot of stuff. And go follow the brand, of course. Not many are like us. And yeah.
Listen, man. Until next time, y'all. This is This Side of Jersey podcast.